Can you turn your volume up? I want to do an audio test.
Turn it up?
Yeah.
Okay, it's up. But I'm on mute. Oh, you want me to say something?
No, I want to see if you can hear the camera audio. Select microphone.
Hey, are you okay? Stop it. Stop running around with food in your mouth. Here's some tea if you need it. Oh, I thought you liked this one.
You want a bottle of water instead? Yes?
Just have you say something, Damien.
Is this working? Testing, testing. Is this working? Testing, testing.
I'm not hearing it through here though. Are you muted maybe?
Speed digital. That is strange that you're not.
I can hear it now.
Okay.
But I have it up as high as I can.
All right, let's see. I can make it a little bit louder.
Well, you can say it louder too. I heard Dane, I heard Lemon. I'm hearing you, dude.
Are we good? Should we take it out?
Let's see.
Testing. Yeah.
Sounds
There's a
pretty
little
good.
bit of feedback. Is that because both
That's
of
because
ours?
we're so
Yeah.
close.
Gotcha.
I think.
Okay.
Now, are we using these at all or no?
Nope. We're just gonna be using this microphone right here. What I understand about this one is pretty good directional. So as long as you're pointing it at whoever's speaking, it'll be pretty decent as far as audio quality. So then that's the fun part. I thought it was going to be really cold today.
So did I.
Trying to get situated here.
We'll take a look at our parking lot there and talk about that. Talk to Bridget a little bit about that.
Come here. 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 Say hi to John.
Yeah, technically going to be a more.
Hold on, let's get the. Say hi. Now I have no volume here. Let's see. I gotta turn my volume up. John, you're on.
Is that gonna be all right with the sun or no?
I think so.
You tell your dad. You tell him.
That's Lennon, right? Okay. I don't know. Oh.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. Yeah. We got 6 minutes. Even though we're already live on Facebook. And wherever else people might be tuning in. Hey, buddy, you're back. Don't, let's not.
I'm going to the park, Dad.
So we haven't officially started yet. Waiting on our special guests to join us today. Thank you to those that are here. I see Sue Lancer. My understanding is Deb has invited you to join us, so welcome.
Yes. Nice to be here.
Great to have you. John's rolling back into the picture. Okay, are you getting feedback or an echo kind of on your side?
No.
Okay, good.
Nope.
We are over here. I know why.
Sue, I'm at the park office. I'm Kay Landowski, by the way. And Damien's outside. And it's a
Okay.
beautiful day.
It is. Yes. I'm excited to see all of this. It sounds like a wonderful project.
Yeah.
It is. We're really excited. And oh my gosh, when I drove up to the park, I couldn't believe how beautiful the trees looked. They're just gorgeous. All the colors.
Mhm. Yeah, it is a beautiful park, and this will add a lot of extra use to it. I know people do use it, but it is just beautiful land. And
Uh-huh.
I don't think, whoop, here we go. More people.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. Another day in paradise.
Okay, good. Okay.
Bob, Sue Lancer's on the call and she's a friend of Deb's. Deb invited her to join.
Hi, Sue. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you as well.
Thanks for joining us.
Bob is on our board with Deb.
Great. I know this, I know that, how long has this project been going on? It's been a number of years, hasn't it? Or
For the park,
that's more recent, right? Yeah.
yeah, well, I think early last year, late in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, I joined in August timeframe, but I heard about it at the end of May when I first was visiting with Damien.
Mm, okay.
August 2019.
All right. I like his recent, is it called Ramp Up for the beach? Was that what it was called, Ramp Up? That was amazing. That was
Right. Yeah. The whole initiative, we call it Ramp Up. In fact,
Okay.
the pop-up behind me that says Ramp Up. So we Ramp Up Universal Communities. This is Ramp Up Universal Park.
Okay.
Ramp Up Bradford Beach. We've ramped up Veterans Park with hand cycles.
Oh, that is
Red
really
Arrow Park and Wilson Park, I believe, with sled skates, the ice skating sled skates. So those are some of the things we've done to ramp up. So
okay.
this is the biggest of the ramp up projects. We have a number of other ideas that we have to ramp up different parks and stuff. So some of them are much smaller in scale. For example, we added accessible beach wheelchairs at Bradford Beach. Those are here now at the park. And we're thinking about putting some skis on them because you can swap out the big wheels and put skis on them.
Oh, interesting.
Then they could be used here at the park.
Mm-hmm.
Snows. So that's an idea of some of the ramp up opportunities.
Very nice. Very nice.
John, you were at the Veterans Park when they did the grand opening for that one, didn't you, with the hand cycles?
Actually, I wasn't.
Okay, I thought you were.
No, no.
Yeah. But you're a huge hand cycling enthusiast.
Correct.
He's a pro.
Well, no, I'm a wannabe.
You're a
Well, Damien said that you took him to school on a hand cycling ride once. He said
Yeah, well,
he
he's a
up with you.
he's a newbie. If Damien puts in the time, he'll beat me. I mean, he will. I know he will.
Yeah. Looks like our time is officially 11:30. We're all about the flexibility these days in the state of COVID, right? I don't know who's teaching their kids at school or at home, I should say, who are not in school. Some of those key words I learned while going to school with my kids in previous years was this idea of flexibility, right? And we've all been figuring that out as adults once again, because it's all they talk about in school, even on a normal day, is about being flexible when the schedule changes. So I'm going to give it a couple minutes for Deb Shield to join us. She is on our board of directors and is a grandparent who rocks. And so she's going to join us to have a conversation about what it means to be a grandparent, what it means to play with her granddaughter, where she can't play with her granddaughter. So we look forward to having that conversation. I'm going to change my screen here for a minute so that what we get is the speaker view. All right. So while we're waiting for Deb, let me introduce you all to our other guest today, who is Bridget McNair. All right. Bridget comes to us from St. Camillus, which is literally right across the street from us. Bridget, you want to say hello and introduce yourself?
Hi, Hi, I'm Bridget McNair. I'm the Director of Research and Life Enrichment here at St. Camillus.
What's your role there? What does that mean as far as that position right across the street from us?
Sure. So I oversee the Recreation Therapy Department, and I'm focused on conducting research to enhance the lives of our elders. We're focusing on intergenerational studies and programs, and essentially trying to change what has been dubbed the model for long-term care to better care for and provide different types of engagement and opportunities to our elders who live here.
Bridget, we had a chance to meet. We had a chance to meet like a year ago now, right? Roughly. Everything is moving slower than I always wanted to, but I am a glass half full guy and never going to quit no matter what. And I asked you to be a part of our planning committee for this park, which we have not yet engaged in, but are continuing to bring people who are interested on that board. When you think about what we've talked about so far to date about what this park can mean, what do you think it means, for this idea of grandparents, of multi-generational play? Do you think that your residents would come and use this space? And I understand you guys already do use this space.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. We currently have compassionate care visits, and per the regulations, our offsite visits cannot be on campus. They have to be at a location, obviously outside of our campus. So a lot of our families have been taking their loved ones over here to the park to enjoy the beautiful scenery, the fresh air. We have the beautiful trails down here. So it has been used quite a bit in the last couple of months. Our vision for this park, I think, just as yours is, Damien, is to allow opportunity to people who might not have the ability to engage in connections, play, enjoyment, and life in general. So our focus for this park is we have elders who many of them utilize a wheelchair or walker or an adaptive device and equipment. So to have the ability to spend time with their families, their extended families, their grandchildren, this opportunity is just unbelievable to just have another beautiful space that they can engage. We're also with the opportunities of bringing our intergenerational mobility program here into an outdoor space. And we've been working with Marquette and Lutheran College, the Wisconsin Lutheran College, and the students. We create programs to help increase strength and endurance of our elders and connect with the community and connect with younger generations. So there are just endless opportunities. I just can't wait to see it happen.
Approximately, we talked about this a little earlier. Approximately how many residents do you guys have over here at St. Camillus? And there's obviously a significant construction project happening now, and how many more might that add in this community?
Yes. So we have approximately 72 individuals who live in our memory care assisted living, about 120 in assisted living, 50 individuals live in our skilled care, and San Camilo hundreds. So we have a new high-rise building that's currently under construction to offer even more living space and opportunities for elders in the community who would like to live in this type of environment. So.
I know that there's all kinds of research studies, and I'm certainly pretty ignorant towards it. I can admit that, but there's probably all kinds of research studies out there, right, about the benefits of keeping seniors moving. We know that it's beneficial for everybody, but I think it even impacts Alzheimer's disease. What do you know about that, and how might this be a benefit for those individuals? I think about, Brock, if you pan over just again to this baseball field over here, this baseball field that you see right there is the baseball field that we're going to turn into a universal field. And you can come back over. I think about your residents, again, in chairs, and this is going to be a fully wheelchair accessible universal baseball field. And you hear stories about how individuals with Alzheimer's, if they can be brought back to a time in their consciousness that they really remember well, and especially baseball being the all-American sport. I'm making assumptions again, but I can imagine that there's some people that could connect to being on the baseball field again. So what is out there about the benefits of exercise and creating or igniting older memories in a space of recreation.
So there have been several studies that have discussed and analyzed the effect of exercise and your brain. And it is something that we've been working on with our mobility program to give individuals who do have a diagnosis of Alzheimer's or dementia the opportunity to physically engage and give them, I guess, other non-traditional ways to experience in an intergenerational setting exercise as being something as a goal for them to achieve. Many people don't want to just sit and just do the same thing every day, but then giving them the opportunity to have outside of the boxes experiences that directly reflect their own past leisure interests. Baseball, great sport. We have some residents who would love to get back to a baseball diamond and crack a ball out into the far left field. We have many individuals. Golf is very popular. Handing somebody with Alzheimer's disease and dementia a golf club that had long time memories of being on the course, phenomenal. And it's one of the most popular sports that we have universally. It changes as we meet new people. But right now, that golf experience, we used it a lot in our mobility program, and the ability of bringing back the memories to be able to critique the others in the program on how they're holding the golf club and weighting it. And so those memories and that function is still retained. So giving them an opportunity to relive that again and just have it be a part of their regular life.
So you guys, you heard it here, right? This is why we're having these community conversations. I didn't think about any kind of golf pitch or putting green or otherwise here, but when we're right across the street from a major senior living home, why wouldn't we, right? Another need for the community, another opportunity for people to access. It doesn't matter what our age is, we all want the opportunity to be fit, active, and healthy and to play. Bridget, I'm gonna come back to you, but our other co-host here has joined us, Deb Shield. Deb, welcome to you. Thanks for coming on.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Live from work today, right?
Live from work today.
Where's work, Deb?
Friends of the Domes in the office.
So during this time of COVID, you guys have people coming into the Dome still, right?
We have people coming into the Domes that can't wait to come in and feel the sense of normalcy and beauty and things that they know from the past that they can take with them in the future. Yep, absolutely.
I don't know if the Domes need ramping up, but if they do, as a board member, let us know. We're here to help, right?
Oh, thanks.
Another project after another.
Tim was a big help in a lot of the disability functions and stuff. So yeah, thank you for the offer.
Absolutely. Deb, you've been a board member of the Ability Center since the board's inception, and I'm so eternally grateful for that. Why don't you share with us first, why did you get involved in the Ability Center? Why is our mission important to you?
I was involved because 20 years ago, I lost my leg to synovial cell sarcoma, and the cancer that I had would connect itself to my lungs. So what I needed to do is I needed to keep myself active and healthy in order to get myself, continue to provide my family and myself the normalcy that I once knew at one time, and I didn't want to let go of. So after figuring out how to use a prosthetic and how to kind of navigate through life, there were things that I wasn't doing that I wanted to continue to do, but I didn't know how to do it. So for instance, I used to like to play tennis and I couldn't do tennis. Walking was always big. Bicycle was big. So as life had unfolded, I was able to watch from the sidelines, but not really participate in some of the things, especially with my family. So with the Ability Center, the onset of that kind of got me into believing and realizing in myself that there are abilities that I can do. There are things that I can do with the help of different accessible products. The hand cycles and other things that we offer right now. So that allowed me to bring my family into the function of exercise, and it allowed me to feel more part of the normalcy that I lost, that I didn't know that I lost, but I did. So going forward, I ended up have a granddaughter that's 5 years old now, and going into her world, it allowed me to find another level of happy. But I have to stand by the sidelines watching her play in the park, and it didn't dawn on me until I couldn't push her on the swing and I couldn't go down the slides and things. I couldn't navigate and walk over to the swing. I had to stay by the fence. And it was one of those things where I was like, she doesn't know any different, but I know it. And it just made me feel like I wasn't part of her play. And as a grandparent, I look forward to that. I didn't realize I looked forward to it, but I did. So I just can't walk with my prosthetic, I can't walk on the wood chips. I can't walk on the uneven ground, and I can't walk on even the grass. Sometimes there's so many trivets and stuff in it that I can't walk on that either. So just having a safe place to walk allows me to participate with Lydia in ways that I kind of long for, to be honest.
Yeah, David Cooks was on our Walk in the Park last time, and we had that conversation again about everybody belonging to this demographic of TABS, which, as we discussed, stands for temporarily able-bodied. So, I mean, you experienced that, I think, in 2000, is that right?
2000 was my surgery, correct.
So you went from, one day being able-bodied, and then the next day just, approximately, right? The concept
Yeah,
of
it wasn't long, but just a couple months by the time from my the inception of my prognosis to my biopsy to my surgery was just a couple months, literally. So I think I found out Valentine's Day, and I think March was my surgery. So I lost my leg in March. So yeah, so it was one of those things where I was able to not really I wasn't able to settle into it, but I knew that it was the best thing to do as far as a family, as far as my mobility is concerned. I wanted to wear prosthetics so I could continue keeping up with everybody. And I just chose not to take the wheelchair route, but that was another option, or even crutches at the time.
Right. How old were your kids when this happened? You have a son and a daughter. How old were they?
My daughter was 13 and my son was 15. So right in high school ages, right in the age of still wanting to be, I was still participating in sports and stuff with them, going to their games, going for walks, riding bikes, things like that I just, we didn't realize it came to a halt, but it did. And, you just kind of look at life, the glass half full, and just continue on with life, never realizing what you're leaving behind until you want to jump on that bike and go for a bike ride with them and stuff. So, it just kind of tugs at your heart.
Absolutely. And as I said to David Cooks, it's just not acceptable that we don't have more opportunities to play in that new normal. Many of you know, and Deb, that I survived bone cancer in both my legs, and I've had 23 knee replacements and revision since I was 13. And now I'm a father, and being able to play with my kids, regardless of what my mobility is or becomes in the future, likely a bilateral above knee amputee, I want to play with them all the time, and I don't ever want to be sidelined. Right. And I think at the stage of life you were in with your kids, same thing. You wanted to keep playing with your kids, but now you're a grandma. And as far as I can tell with grandparents, it's like the greatest thing on earth, right? Is to be a grandparent. Yes. And that's all you want for your children too, right? Is to grow up, to fall in love, to be happy, to have children. And now you get the chance to pay them back by just having fun with your grandkids. How does that feel when and/or what is Lydia's response, when grandma can't join in, or grandma says, sorry, I can't push you on the swing? I mean, it's important both. How does that make you feel? And we got to think about, how does that make Lydia feel? Because kids don't want to just play with kids. They want to play with parents. They want to play with grandparents. They don't, they always look back to us to say, hey, watch, hey, look at me. And when you can't be there, it's heartbreaking. It's agonizing as somebody with a limitation. So how does that feel, or what's that like for you and/or Lydia?
I don't think she did. Obviously doesn't know any different, because it's just been the norm of life. And it's what I make of it. I just recently was able to, this was always a fear of mine, to tell her that grandma only had one leg, to be honest with you. And I didn't never, this just happened about 2 months ago. And I never realized until she was looking in my cabinet, and she just was looking, because I store my prosthetic in my cabinet. And she was just looking around to see what that was all about. And she just kind of questioned it. And I just said, well, grandma's a little different. You know, grandma has, you know, grandma wears this for walking. So it's kind of what you make of it. And I haven't made a big deal of it because it's the norm of our life. But it makes me sad that I can't go and push her. And, you know, I like being part of the giggle with her. I like being part of the play, the fun, the, you know, the let's go higher grandma type thing and stuff. But I look at it as a positive because I'm grateful for it, but I look at the negative of it as the heartache of it, of not being able to participate and catching her on the slide, you know, swinging her on the swing. Just walking, I mean, it's as little as simple as walking from one area of the park to the other area of the park, just catching up with her and stuff. I mean, it's down to the basics of that, as far as participating, even from one side of the playground to the other side and stuff. It's that basic.
And you deserve more.
I do. I
You
do.
do.
I do. And I want it because I want to participate in her life. I want to participate again in the giggle, in the fun, in the laughter. You know, they bring that to you, and that's something you look forward to participate in the eyes of a child.
So when we talk about, you know, behind me building a universal baseball field, and we'll get there across, you know, the parking lot at some point, a universal playground, you know, pathways that you can take through the forest. I got to imagine you're looking at, you know, as much forward to that as I am with my kids, to know that there's some place for me to go, regardless of if I had a surgery and I'm in a chair, or I'm on crutches, or I have a walker, or I have 2 prosthetic legs in the future. I'm going to have some place in our community to go. Well, that's got to be hopeful. We got to feel, you know, as cancer survivors and people who survive many traumas, you know, it's hard not to always see the light and always stay in a space of positivity. I mean, we are often there, but sometimes it's okay for us to speak about the reality, the truth, and the truth that sometimes hurts, and the fact that it's not inclusive of everybody. So what are you looking most forward to with Lydia in the giggles when you've seen the design of our park? And, you know, Bridget brought up a great idea about golf. Is there something that you would want to see as a grandmother in the community for you and Lydia to do?
You know, it's kind of funny because where I live right down the street from a park, but it's not accessible to me. So, I mean, it would literally take me 3 minutes to get there, so I can't go there. But I dream of the day that we can go to Wisconsin Avenue Park. I literally entertain the idea in my mind, just walking over there without the difficulty that I would normally go through as far as walking to the slides. I also look forward to just walking around that whole park, just the path area, and just stopping and doing like a little exercise or a little stretching. You know, we like to do yoga and stuff, and I just look forward to being able to walk on that path and go to just but just walk without tripping and without stumbling, and that's a big thing for me. Stumbling and tripping and not falling that's a big thing. And having that path and having the surface to do all that, it's as basic as that.
And I can appreciate that myself. I was just on a walk yesterday with my boys. Speaking of, here's one of them, little 4-year-old redheaded Lennon. And literally a stone about, no, he's 4.5. Literally a stone about this big caused my ankle to roll and me to fall.
Wait.
That's all it took, was one tiny little stumble, and I was nearly on the ground on a walk.
It's as easy as stumbling with my toe. I mean, not clearing an area that's have a little incline, but I can't feel it with my other foot. It's very basic.
So just taking away a little bit of that concern, a little bit of that fear, a little bit of that worry of further injury is
Exactly.
Meaningful in and of itself.
Because I don't want to be put in a position where I'm more limited than I am. And I don't feel that I'm limited. but I know that I am, and I know that I'm cautious of where I surround myself.
Let me jump to Bridget for a second. Bridget, we talked about this field over here and the idea of, you know, being able to hit a ball. I don't think it's far-fetched for seniors for me to make this kind of claim. And I say that because there's an organization called Miracle League where a lot of kids with pretty severe disabilities get help batting, get help being pushed around the bases, and that brings light and love and joy and smiles to their faces. I can imagine it would do the same for the seniors, right?
Having an opportunity to come over here and enjoy and participate in as it's normal would be amazing. I mean, just it's hard to say. Once again, the baseball field, amazing, great. To be able to run intergenerational programs with that would also be a wonderful engagement opportunity. I say opportunity so much because there's so much opportunity.
Right.
Shut it down.
On that note, well, just dream with me for a second, right? Dream with me for a minute. You know the kind of programs that you guys are doing over there, you know, with your seniors and the things that you have found helpful. If you were in this dream with us and could add to it, what else would you add? What else do they need? I mean, I keep coming back to this because, you know, Brock, just pan over. I mean, so that's the Wisconsin Avenue Park sign, but you can't even see the magnitude across the street here from our viewpoint of St. Camillus, but we're literally across the block, right? Right across the street, and it extends from Wisconsin Avenue to Blue Mountain Avenue, and you guys are ever expanding as far as I can tell, which is great. It's needed, but there's always going to be more needs. So like I said, dream with us for a second. What programs do you do there that you could bring here and things you would see of value inside of this park?
Absolutely. I dream every day
I love it.
about things like this. So as I already said, a mobility program, wonderful to be in an outdoor space. It was my original vision, but because we didn't really have the adequate space to implement the program in an outdoor environment, it wasn't possible. So we remained indoors. Also, we have intergenerational programs that were connected with the schools and the community. And a lot of what we've been talking about is the environment. The environment, pollinators, preserving bees. We've been working a lot with first grade students. So being in an outdoor environment where we can actually grab the leaves, grab the milkweed, talk about it as we're sitting and experiencing is a whole nother level.
Hold on a second. First graders from where? First graders from where?
Roosevelt High School, Roosevelt Elementary.
Is that here in Tulsa? Here in Tulsa, right?
In Tulsa.
You know, we just had conversations a little bit with the school district about bringing them in, and it was suggested to us by the Ron McDonald House that we engage the school district more for exactly these kinds of opportunities of education. And let me tell you, my thought process was they have playgrounds, and the Wauwatosa School District had a huge referendum where they're redesigning their playgrounds, incredibly inclusive, things that I didn't even think of, to be honest. They are just crushing it. So I thought, well, what do they really need Wisconsin Avenue Park for? When you engage the community, here's what they need Wisconsin Avenue Park for. And Game Time talks about education and bringing in some of the same kind of stuff, the bees, the zoo theme, etc. So the fact that we're combining this idea of multi-generational play, which is what this conversation is about, you've got first graders working with seniors. So you could see bringing them here.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely. And just the family's ability to come over when they're visiting, to have a picnic, to be able to sit in the shade and enjoy lunch together, enjoy the beauty. This park is just so beautiful. We just took a trip down Wisconsin Avenue, and we weren't really able to come across and go through the parkway here, but we came just to see these beautiful maple trees and the changing of the season with the social distancing. You know, it was quite the feat, but we made it happen, having a park that we can come to and spend more time in, that is accessible, that does provide shade, which is very important for our seniors.
Yep.
Would just add another wonderful element to what we're able to do, and opportunities for families to come in and have a picnic in a park that they don't have to travel far away. Just so many things our regular programs as well. I'm creating an ambulation program, and we're trying to come through the trails.
So I feel like the adaptive obstacle course that we've been talking about, this adaptive obstacle course that's never been done before, might be something they'd enjoy, right? Not running around, but even wheeling through an obstacle course and trying to find their way, whether walking or wheeling through that space, is something that would be valuable. And I got to tell you, this story that Bridget is sharing with us right now brings me back to a story that Katie Bathy shared, and we're kind of flipping the script, right? Katie Bathy, whose daughter Kira is in a chair, talked about how her grandparents, so Katie's mom and dad, have a hard time pushing Kira through wood chips and actually getting her to be able to play with her, because pushing her through wood chips and the kind of surfaces that you see at playgrounds and in parks doesn't really make it accessible for them. And now we're actually thinking, this is what is happening in my mind. I'm flipping that script and saying, what about grandkids pushing grandparents, being able to push their grandparents through the park, right? I mean, instead of the grandparents pushing the kid, the child who might be a wheelchair user, we've got elderly people across the street and seniors who are wheelchair users. And how fun would it be for a grandchild? You know, I mean, my kids, when I'm in a chair, will push me, right? Sometimes. How fun would it be for them to be able to push and to be pushed, right? Through the park by their grandkids. Even that simple act of love and togetherness, I have to imagine. I mean, are you seeing it? Because I'm seeing it. I have to imagine that you could imagine that would be incredibly valuable for your population here across the street, your residents. Well, let's take a walk if you guys are okay with that. This guy's a little rambunctious. I don't know where he came from, but the good thing is he doesn't have to be in school because he's not in school right now. So I can't get in trouble. But you want to take a walk with me, Bridget? Sure. All right. Come on, bud. You can walk with us. No. All right, we're gonna walk over to the baseball field for a minute and just kind of take a look from this direction. Come on with Bridget. And while we do that, I want to talk a little bit more to Bridget. Bridget, you have had hearing loss, right? So you associate somewhat into this adaptive community and the understanding, and you said somehow, some way, good for my voice, because you can hear me today. You more often than not lip read. Is that right?
Correct. It's a cookie bite hearing loss, so only certain speech ranges are affected, and usually men are the most difficult to hear.
Interesting.
Thank you.
I was raised by basically a single mother, so I always say I have more of a sensitive female side anyway. Maybe that's what it has to do here. I don't know. And that started at what age for you?
We found it when I was in first grade.
First grade.
The degenerative hearing loss over time. Mm-hmm.
And so you learned some sign language, back at some point. You mentioned that you're not necessarily fluent in sign language, but you have some familiarity. Yes. When we talk about things like this baseball field over here being universally inclusive, there's all kinds of communication. Yeah, you go over there. Go run over there. Go run the bases for us and come back. Go. He's speedy. Look at him go. There he goes.
Are you timing?
Yeah, no. Dad cannot catch that. I haven't been able to catch that child since he was 18 months old, and he knows it. Anyways, where were we? We were talking about some of the communication devices that Game Time has, whether those are tablets or they have signs that have what sign language is to talk about how to play. To say to somebody, I want to play with you if they don't know sign language. I would imagine that could have been useful for you potentially if you were using some of it when you were a child or first, second grade, third grade as you were learning. If your peers knew how to sign to you to play, that would be valuable. Yeah, things like that.
It's always a beautiful thing when you can break through to someone with communication, especially at times where it seemed impossible. Yep. And running into someone who was fluent in sign language or was very knowledgeable on how to speak clearly to someone with a hearing impairment, always a beautiful moment.
Yeah. We're gonna we're gonna loop around just a little bit and hit the paths and the trails. And my ultimate goal here is to bring everybody to where we plan to build, where the playground is now, will actually become an outdoor fitness area. And so we can talk a little bit about that and some of the things we might implement in that space, and that would be supportive and helpful for your residents. Has anybody been timing Lennon? Because he's almost back. I don't know how long it took him, but he's slowed down. And Deb, as we're walking through here, I'm thinking about you because I'm walking over sticks. I'm surprised I haven't fallen yet. Good thing, because I'm holding a laptop. But a lot, and again, we want to be clear that these beautiful trees, the grass, the nature, the natural resources here, we're not looking to decimate, to take down, or otherwise. We're just looking to create opportunities in these spaces for everybody to enjoy them and be able to get anywhere in this park. And right now, the only way to the fields is through the grass. It's through the lawn surfaces, it's over the leaves, it's over the sticks. And we need to change that, because we've talked to many people over these last 5 walks in the park who want the opportunity to play, to recreate with their family, with their friends, because just because you have a disability doesn't mean that everyone else around you does. So we'll stop in the middle. We've got 3 baseball fields here that we've talked about in the past. Our plan here at this one in the middle is to improve it for able-bodied individuals and able-bodied kids, and actually add lights, because we are going to take away one of the typical fields, and again, turn this one into a universally inclusive baseball field. Would be the first ever of its kind in the entire country, never been done before. And so we plan to put that there. And the importance here and the value here is that you're going to have able-bodied and those with disabilities playing alongside each other, showing each other what they're capable of and what their ability actually is. That maybe they're not disabled, they just need to play, as we always say, in a different pair of shoes. No reason these populations can't play together. And then there's a third practice field that will improve as well. And then if you want to pan all the way around for me, Brock, where you see the picnic tables in the building is where a very significant playground is planned to go. But again, this is all up for conversation with the planning committee, with the community, as we continue to develop this vision. And hopefully you guys on there donate, support it, talk to your colleagues about it, everybody, spread the word, because we've got a significant project happening here. Let's take a walk towards the building. Bridget, so you bring your residents over here, you bring the seniors over here. You know, how valuable would it be to not have to plan a certain amount of time that you have, because everybody's got to get back to go to the bathroom. That's what we often see in parks and spaces, right? So many parents who have caretaker needs, changing needs, bathroom needs, have to plan their day around when they have to be back to a bathroom that they can use. So I would imagine turning this building here into a caretaker space bathroom and a completely universally inclusive and accessible bathroom would be valuable, right? I mean, why go home if you don't have to? Right? Why go back across the street if you can stay here? Why do we plan playgrounds in parks without inclusive bathrooms? It sounds so basic, but it's, as David Cook said in our last conversation, and which maybe you got in our email today in the video, that so many people take the small things for granted that they don't think about it. And those are the things that we're having to make possible here, so that you don't have to be limited in the amount of time that you can play simply because you have to use the bathroom or you have a changing need or otherwise. So if you just want to pan at the building, I mean, this is, I don't even know when it was built, but this county park building, and this is nothing against county parks. They're old, they need help. We're here to help them. We're here to partner with them. But this was abandoned for 10 years before we got here, and it was probably built in the 60s. So we can't even renovate what's already here. It would never be accessible enough. So we're gonna have to build this new or build a new space. So that's really where it starts. We'll head down the pathway. So right now there is an asphalt paved path. I don't know if you had a chance, Bridget, to see some of our last walks in the park, but what was it? I think our second one where it was raining, and today turned out to be a gorgeous, beautiful day. Thank you very much. Looking up, it's a wonderful day, but it was raining and we get to the end of these paths, and you guys have seen this if you watch, this path ends that we're on. You get to the top of the hill where this wooded space is that we want to turn into an inclusive loop with play pockets and fitness pockets throughout is the plan. And that loop, if people execute it, I think it's 2 times, they will have gone a half a mile. So it's actually measurable to keep people active. But at our second walk, we had 3 friends who are wheelchair users who had to stop. They couldn't join us. They couldn't continue on. They couldn't participate because this current path and asphalt path that they have here in the park just ends. I mean, have you guys experienced that? Have you brought residents through here?
We have. We've taken the trails that go through here on the campus behind.
Yep.
Yeah. So because this ends, we prefer to take the back loop.
Which just really takes you through the county research park. Is that right? Is that what you're
Yes.
talking about? The back
Yes,
loop?
beautiful waterfalls.
Beautiful walk, nice
Yeah.
waterfalls.
Mhm.
There's some, retention ponds back there that
Yeah.
look nice, that are appealing. I can appreciate that. But at the same time, I want to say, you guys are keeping it positive. You're doing what you can with the resources you have. But I get a little frustrated and angry that that's a choice you have to make. Your choice is, because all we have to do is to walk our residents through a research park of office buildings. That's where you have to go because the park is not, paths are not accessible. I mean, can you understand just a little bit of, kind of what I'm thinking or where I'm coming from? Everyone else can play in the park. Why shouldn't you guys be able to play in the park? Everyone else can walk through the park. Why shouldn't you and your residents be able to walk through the park? It makes sense, right?
It should just be natural.
It should just,
Absolutely.
she said it, ladies and gentlemen, it should just be natural. Naturally, you don't always have a redheaded 4.5-year-old winging sticks around, though, on the path as an obstacle. Lennon, you want to say hi? Right there. Say hi, everybody.
Hi. Hey.
Lennon,
Yeah.
do you like to play with Daddy? Is it fun or no? That's a thumbs up, ladies and gentlemen. Just one, not 2 enthusiastic thumbs up, just one. Oh, now I got 2 because he dropped his stick. So we're coming to the playground right now. Let's just talk a little bit about this space. If you'll pan over for me, Brock. Bridget, maybe you guys have come here, or maybe some of your residents have, with their family. But we can see that there is only a small amount of rubberized surface that only takes somebody to 2 toddler swings here. Other than that, there's nothing somebody with a mobility pyramid can really access. Deb, someone like you, if you came here, you could get Lydia on that swing, but she's going to outgrow that toddler swing, right?
She's going to outgrow the toddler swing, and she's going to want to be running around, and she's going to want me to be with her, running after her. So exactly.
Exactly. And one of the things I always say is that grandparents are not the grandparents of yesteryear who want to sit on one of these, beautiful green benches, metal benches that have been added here right outside of the playground. You want to be in the mix as much as you can. Is that right?
It's right. But you know what? Don't disregard that, because sitting down on those benches would be really hard for my prosthetic. I couldn't sit there that long because it's going to jam into my prosthetic's going to jam into my residual limb.
Yeah.
So that's also something to consider, is just not metal seating, but something where it's going to be, accommodating for a shorter period or an extended period of time versus a shorter period of time.
Absolutely. Right. And sometimes I appreciate we need a seat as well, and we need to take a break depending on what our limitations are. But, to me right now, as I look at it, it says this is your only opportunity to participate, is to sit and watch.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
we need better opportunities and more. So this is going to become, Bridget, as we talked about, this playground, a newly constructed playground is going to go to behind the building near the baseball fields, and this is going to become an outdoor fitness space. Again, multi-generational in thought. You guys do exercise programs across the street at all? So you could see, again, joy in somebody's face and in their mentality and appearance and psyche that they have the opportunity to actually do that outside.
Absolutely. And non-structured, come whenever you want, whenever you're available, join in, be a part of the experience. It doesn't have to be run by an
Right.
expert. It's
Right.
always available, open. Yeah.
What is the flexibility? I mean, by no means do I think that that your residents are on lockdown or anything, but is there flexibility in their day that they can wander through a park if they want to on their own, if they have the capacity? I'm sure a certain percentage of residents.
In independent living,
Yep.
residents can, they come and go whenever they want. This could be another space for them. Like I said, to bring their families. Our days are pretty busy
Right.
for most of the individuals who do live next door at St. Camillus, but a lot of times it would have to be the engagement with a loved one, a family member, a friend, or a staff member.
Yep.
For those who live in memory care and assisted living.
Yeah,
Mhm.
what a great opportunity, right? Again, to be able to bring them out, see something different, enjoy this park, enjoy the nature. You talked about coming over to look at the trees. I mean, how great would it be? You know, Brock, if you pan around, we walked a couple of weeks ago through this. Actually, at our last walk in the park, we walked through with R.A. Smith and Tom Mortensen, because this whole park, all 17 acres, is going to be ramped up. That whole space is going to have trails for it. So you can see and hug and touch and feel more trees than the few that you have access to on the trail right now. So I'm excited. You know, I don't know how you guys are feeling on there. We've got a good number of participants, and today I would love to, if we could, turn it over to a little bit of Q&A, or if anybody has any questions or comments that they'd like to add, by all means, please jump in, unmute yourself, and let us know what your thought is. Don't everybody jump at the same time, though.
I just want to say that I absolutely love this vision, and it sounds like you've done so many positive things in Milwaukee already, and this would just be a wonderful use of this space. And as you mentioned, right next to St. Camillus for the seniors, but I like the idea of all-inclusive, that there are so many things that can be done. And I like hearing all these creative ideas and real positivity. So I support you.
Thank you so much, Sue. Thanks for joining us.
So Damien, it's Kay, and I was listening to some of the things that were being said about using the field and the value for many of the residents of St. Camillus who have dementia and Alzheimer's, and how that would help trigger memories. And the first person I thought of was my dad, whose mobility has declined quite a bit along with his memories. So being able to bring him right to a baseball field and maybe even putting a bat right in his hand would just be amazing. And yes, he's got 21 grandkids and 6, almost 7 great grandkids that would probably love to push OPA around some of the paths.
That's fantastic. Frank, I'm gonna jump in on you for a second. You are a vice president at Bader Philanthropies, and Bader Philanthropies has a lot to do with supporting Alzheimer's programs, research, etc. So I would imagine you might have a little bit of insight for us on this.
Well, I was about to support what Kay said. You know, we yes, Alzheimer's and dementia is the bedrock of Bader Philanthropies, and so I was thinking exactly that you know, the opportunities to have some of the folks over at St. Camillus to be over there will bring back a lot of memories, and also the other thing that we support heavily is anything that's intergenerational. We just so heavily care about, because that's where we have such great two-way learning. The children learn from helping the elderly, and just those memories of seeing those young bodies just whiz around a park or baseball field or whatever have you, is we know the research on what that could do for for both generations, not just for the elderly, but for the children also. And then on a personal level, you know, I'm about to become a grandpa for the first time in about a week. And I'm watching all of this, and I'm sort of have this vision into the future of I'm sure a day will come when my brain or my legs or something may not be working as well. And how beautiful would that be to know that there is a place where my grandson could probably take me and we could enjoy such a space. And that's what improvement in community is all about. So this has been wonderful to listen and watch and see you in your element there, Damien. You sound like Bob Costas there for a moment. You know,
Bob Costas. I gotta sound like Bob Costas.
You know,
Wow.
just describing everything that's going on. It's wonderful to see you in that element. So yes, the foundation would it would be, you know, very supportive of seeing things like this come to fruition. And as a matter of fact, Helen Bader would be so happy to know that you're out there really advancing this cause of the elderly and dementia and Alzheimer's. Thank you. Appreciate what you're doing, bro.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your comments that are far too kind. But I'm gonna take it as an opportunity to close this walk in the park with some comments from me. And I think if you guys have been here before, you've seen that I can get rather emotional at times, and make no mistake, it might happen now. Frank, you talked about, I'm gonna put this down. You mentioned this idea, Frank, that seeing me in my element is somewhat, I don't even know what the right word is. I'm actually struggling. It's where my passion lives. It's where my purpose is. I've said it before. If you haven't heard it, I will never stop saying it. That I had cancer in both my legs when I was 13 and 14. That sidelined me instantly from a dream of wanting to be a pro beach volleyball player. It sidelined me instantly with my siblings and the way that they play. I can remember being 15 years old in our upstairs family room, watching down on our driveway as the neighbors and my siblings and stepfather at the time and step siblings were all playing basketball. And I just started crying because I couldn't play with them the way that they're used to, the way that they remember, the way that I wanted to, the way that I remember. And that wasn't okay then. And this was almost 30 years ago now. I'm 42. I'm going to be a 30-year survivor of my childhood cancer. And it's not okay that in those 30 years, opportunities haven't gotten better. There are few, let me be clear, but that's the key word, there are few. There should be all. And what we're talking about here, some people are gonna balk at and say, $7 million is too much. $7 million is too big. But nothing's impossible in my world, for starters, because from here to Sloan Kettering, doctors told my mom I wasn't going to see my 15th birthday. And if people with disabilities, grandparents, the elderly, you out there, you are all simply what we call tabs. You are temporarily able-bodied. Disease, accident, the aging process, these are all inescapable, that we're all going to have a need for greater opportunity. And as Kay said about her dad, his desire to still do the things that he once loved still remains, even if his physical body can't. My desire to still be active, to be fit, to be healthy, to play with my kids is never going to go away. I wrote a grant so that I could wakeboard on the water with my kids as a 42-year-old. I want to play in any way that I can with them all the time. And I'm not the only one. There's 25% of Americans that claim a disability. There's 190,000 in southeastern Wisconsin. There's 100,000 in Milwaukee County. And we can just start with this one park that's across the street from St. Camillus, that's across the highway from the Milwaukee Regional Medical Center, Children's. I grew up on that campus. I still go to that campus, Children's and Freighter and the Medical College, and across the street, the Ronald McDonald House. Everybody deserves a chance to be active and to play with everybody, with their peers, with their siblings, with their parents, with their grandparents, with their aunts, with their uncles, with everybody. The residents across the street deserve to come here with the first graders, and the first graders deserve the opportunity to push the residents around and not just learn and educate, but have fun wherever they want to go in the park. I'm hoping that you guys will help make this a possibility. I don't care if it's $1 million, if it's $7 million, if it's $10 million. We can do this because everybody deserves it. Over this time of COVID, so many people have had the opportunity to enjoy the outdoors, to enjoy the parks, to get out. We've been told to, we've been encouraged to, that that's the safest place you can be. But people with disabilities at this time of COVID have been even further isolated, because just because it's fall, just because it was summer, just because it was spring, doesn't mean that the outdoors were open to them too. So I deplore you to share this, to donate to this, to contribute, to tell corporations, to families, to friends, we're going to have all kinds of opportunities to name things out here. But is that really what's most important, is the opportunity to name something and put your name on it? Or is it simply good enough that we've just done the right thing so that everybody can play like you? With that, I'm going to close out and say thank you to everybody who joined us today. Thank you to everybody who champions ability. Thank you to Bridget, our very special guest today. It was an absolute pleasure to speak with you. Thank you to Deb. I'm not staring at my computer, so I don't see any of you on Zoom. Thank you guys all for joining us. I hope you have a great Wednesday. And our next walk in the park is going to be fast forwarded to, I think, the week before Thanksgiving. Not sure how the day after an election is going to go to host it. So we will host one more of these. I don't care how cold it is. I'm always going to be out here. I don't care if it's raining. I don't care if it's snowing. I don't care if it's 90 degrees. I don't care if it's 0 degrees. We're going to see this through. And that might be my 4-year-old screaming at somebody. Bye, everyone.
Jody.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. It's great to see all of you. He's great, isn't he?
Yep, he is great. Yeah, this is a great meeting. Thanks for inviting me, Deb. It was nice to see everyone and get the scoop on what's going on. So
Yeah, thanks for participating.
appreciate it. Yeah, take
Yeah.
care.
Bye.
Nice to meet you, Franklin.